Hello and welcome to May I Take Your Order by Alexis Royce. Tonight we're pleased to serve you a fun little romantic dish with a scoop of horror and a nice bloody ganache, or however you say that word. May I Take Your Order is a short visual novel about a half-hour long with 5 endings. You play as a waiter serving a couple with strange tastes. Okay, content warnings with spoilers. You know what? I'm not going to look at it. Just in case. Alright, I've been filling out a few applications today, and this is the last one. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It might not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places are run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what does and doesn't work. I never want to do food service ever again. A friend told me I should save my top pick for last, and I should really kick him for that. My hand's about to fall off. It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. Fancy but not overpriced, important clientele, but still kind and inclusive. If you can't make connections here, you're dead. Financially speaking. And spiritually. And the food? Remarkable. I've never heard of anyone ever having a bad meal there. I gotta know how they accomplish so much. So I try not to be too nervous and fill this out like it's any other application. I feel like if you go into food service, don't choose one you like. Because just so, like, you save yourself the possibility of learning things you never wanted to know. Ooh, my first name is... There we go, V. I fill in my address and try not to despair over my handwriting before getting into the personal section. Gender is... we'll just go female. And I finish filling out the form. I cap the pen and lean back in my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in one at a time. Better get to it. 2 weeks later, and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. Busy doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. I stop off at table 6 and go through the motions. Thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is V, and I'll be your server this evening. He smiles at me.
Pleasure to meet you, Miss V.
Have you dined with us before, sir?
Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back.
Just you this evening, sir?
No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her.
I'll go get that for you right away, then.
No rush.
Countless families and couples have come and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy's been clogging up table 6. Are you doing alright, sir? He checks his watch again.
Yes, I mistook the time. She'll be here any second.
He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. I tell him to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't have the look I'd expect of someone in his position.
Oh, everybody is absolutely talking smack about this guy just sitting there.
There's anxiety, but only a little bit, and there's no disappointment. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks.
Excuse me.
He looks up at me. He seems he's come to some sort of decision. Thank good.
But this is a restaurant with crayons, correct?
Yes, sir. We have those for kids.
Excellent.
A sting of ferocity enters his eyes, one that doesn't quite pair naturally with crayons.
One, please, and red if you got it.
Yeah, sure. I'm not about to argue with the customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly usual, but the guy has been sitting here for half an hour with no phone. He hasn't ordered anything but that one coffee. I'm caught between pity and irritation and hope for the upteenth time. That he has enough empathy to tip well on the single cup of coffee he's been nursing. Oh my god! There's a small tin with several crayons. We try to keep fresh ones ready. I grab his red crayon. He asks for red crayon. I'm a good server, thank you very much. I snatch up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night too. I bring the crayon back over to him and hand it over.
Thank you, Miss V.
It's no big deal. Hey, are you okay? I saw you don't have a cell phone, but we could call your girlfriend and... No warning, no nothing. He knocks everything off the table and climbs right on. Well, sir? Please get down. His deft hand scrawls a wide circle, then another, then sections off areas, slicing as though the crayon were a knife. He fills it with symbols. They look almost like zodiac signs. It's like I stood up too fast. There's a rushing to my head. There's a pressure like my ears are going to pop.
What have you done?
The tablecloth rips and there's a spray of sweet-smelling fluid. I leap away from the table as something bursts out.
Dear heavens!
Wet, spiked appendages are flailing all over, slapping and snaking their way over the windows and doors. They're fleshy but soft, too soft, and they mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. One smacks a hat off another diner, who continues to eat her meal, unfazed. Nobody is screaming, and nobody notices me on the ground, arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. But that's okay. The thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant and me. It's letting out a dual-toned screech, high and low, but I can't discern one throat, let alone two. Crayon thrown to the floor, the stood-up guy, and worst diner ever, starts to call out at it.
Sweetie, for goodness sake, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant.
It screeches and roars back at him.
I know, but...
He waves a bundle of cloth at it.
I brought you some clothing, and it's super comfy.
It slurps up the bundle of fabric, and the creature bubbles and draws back in on itself, twisting until...
I emerge. You're here. You had me worried, so I figured I'd help break the barrier down a bit. Oh my god, Teleporia, you have no idea how good it is to see you.
When he says that word, my ears finally pop and my teeth grit. It's a bad word. It's not a curse word per se, not so much a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in a classroom or meeting. The moment when everyone turns and looks at you, and you just want to sink through the floor. I just want to sink through the floor. I want to very quietly go get my coat and change my name and move to whatever town is on the exact opposite point on the globe from where I'm currently standing.
You informed me that the barrier was to be frail in this portion of your world. I will hold you responsible for the trouble.
He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs toward it, like I'm dehydrated. My eyeballs are dry. I can feel my eyelids sticking. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelids is so cool and so soft. Huh. There are tears running down my cheeks. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Hendrik, beams and gestures toward the gaggle of eyes and puffy wool.
Wait. When did we learn his name? Did I say his name? I don't remember even saying it. This is my girlfriend, Teleporia. Impudent microbe, I may choose to craft for myself the form of a creator, a birthing one, but I am capable of far greater creations than your pubescent females. And far more erroneously, your inflated ego thinks I would deign to refer to you as any form of companion.
Her words wash over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her roars just make his eyes brim with joy.
We've been dating for about 400 years now, and though the long-distance thing is an eerie bit of annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I will rip your soul from your ever-regenerating body and chew it to a gruel.
He sits down at the all-but-destroyed table and picks up his menu.
But until that beautiful day when I can be with you forever, you're going to need to eat something else.
Teleporia stops. She looks at me and I bounce between eyes, trying to make contact with one that doesn't stare down into my deepest inadequacies.
There is human fuel here.
I nod. Her mouth breaks open into a into a smile.
Excellent. You're spared from punishment, Hendrik, if only for the moment.
She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present throughout the entire room, spikes driven deep into the surfaces, blocking all the exits. She settles into one of the squishy appendages, looking pleased.
So then maybe we should order an appetizer.
It's not that I can't believe that this is happening. I have an open mind. But as far as sudden supernatural shifts to my life, I was really hoping for a wizard school. Or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? At least with a zombie or something, I'd know the rules here. What are the rules with this thing? Do I throw rice on the ground to stall her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon? You summon demons, so that fits. But I don't know, something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's
excuse me.
Oh. I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to stutter out
The right reply? Question mark.
Would you like to start off with a soup or salad tonight? The man grins and gives an eager nod.
Could I please get the blue cheese salad and for my sweetie?
The teleporia rolls her eyes and her teeth flash as she cuts in.
Hendrik, I've been on enough of these sham dates to know that ordering for your companion is rude.
His face falls.
But it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now.
She gives him a glare and slowly places the slightly bent cutlery back on the table.
Fine.
But before he can say another word, she makes her move.
I don't want your advice, though. I want the young human to choose for me.
Oh, no. He sighs, annoyed. But he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I'd appreciate more if he could have not summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday shift. Or at all. I ease my throat open enough to squeak out. She seems like a meat kind of girl. So we'll go with lamb. This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. Great. And what would you like for your entree? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach lurches.
First, bring me the matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself.
I turn on my heel and fly out of there, an excuse to leave. If there are any kindly, extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rush into the kitchen. Back in the kitchen, everyone's still bustling about. Other servers are calling in their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They're as oblivious as the customers out front. I can see my manager discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But nobody turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the hell is going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring in this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and a chili for table 6. Just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with the orders put down on the counter next to me. But other than that, there's no hint of a glance, no guilty looks. Hey! Nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks like I'm on my own.
And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening? From your ever effusive sewer pipe of compliment springs something worthwhile. I made most of them myself, but the eye in the center of my head was my reference object. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of study materials. So I suppose I can remain here long enough to consume some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debts. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring home knowledge, cooks can bring home food, and surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends.
I can say with relative certainty that that isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's last name, I'm never going to his hospital. I served Teleporia her chili, trying not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot.
Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can Silence, meat garden. I know what to do with volatile heat sources.
She flings the scalding liquid across the table and it hits Hendrik square in the chest.
No.
He rushes out to the bathroom, face red with pain. We don't serve our soups at a heat that could do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closes most of her eyes and inhales, a deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her rough voice has a tranquil tone.
Clean it up, human. This is an establishment with standards, is it not?
Well, it was, I mutter. The elegant charm might be a bit altered by the sudden presence of giant tentacles. She snuggles down in her seat.
This is a gift for your owner. This is a sliver of my true form.
Well, it's lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the chili.
Apologies unnecessary, human. I enjoyed that immensely.
She sniffs the air.
And it smells nice as well.
She dabs a little of the meat on her neck.
This body has concentrated blood flow around the throat and wrists. This pulse points heat and disperse stray molecules of matter, allowing humans to perceive them with their noses.
She seems quite pleased with this luxury. She wraps a scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Hendrik brought for her is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. The way you're clutching that scarf, are you
You may not have my scarf. It retains my heat. I will continue to generate and retain heat, and it will belong to me, not you.
I take a step back. No, that's all your heat, fair and square. She growls, happily.
Yes, all mine. Hendrik will be procuring more matter this evening, which will continue to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury. The caloric energy necessary to move but a digit.
She lifts one of her own claws.
Is precious. Have gone for thousands of years lying in wait for foolish summoners to tear open rifts and let in the good heat from your world.
Teleporia leans down on the table. The edges of the scarf trail into her chili, or at least what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? I look at the still present tentacles and recalculate that statement. She at least cannot harm me with soup, and that's something.
So, human, how do you enjoy generating your own heat?
It's good. I'd rather just turn on the heater though. It's not great really. Have you ever gotten sweaty? I like it. Physical activity is fun. Well, she just said every movement takes up calories. And if I say not great and complain about it, she might get mad. So I'm just gonna be like, sometimes I turn on the heater. When it gets cold, I can't bring myself to do much of anything, so I just turn up the thermostat. She slams a hand down.
No, this is unacceptable, lazy human.
Bitch, you're using a scarf right now. What's the difference between a scarf and me turning on another, like a thing that helps?
In the void, there is no heat. There are no suns off of which to leech like some creature that lives off the blood of another.
I don't think she knows that the verb correlates to an actual animal.
You need to be more grateful.
And Hendrik returns. You're just jealous that you don't got a heater.
Getting along well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company.
I keep forgetting how to do his voice.
We'll eat our appetizers and...
She shakes her head.
I'm finished with mine.
He laughs.
Of course. How could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now?
Wow, he sure likes getting abused. She doesn't even like him. Then again, this could just be their weird, freaky kinks.
The next part of the meal? Ah, yes, with the larger portions.
Hendrik points to her menu.
So what were you thinking about? I always like steak, but I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the... Hey, human V.
I snap to attention. Yes, ma'am.
Choose. Do it promptly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course.
She's staring at me right in the eyes, and her gaze lingers on my mouth. She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. These are my teeth. Get your own teeth. Could she eat my teeth? Well, I think you would enjoy... beautiful porterhouse steak. We have a live lobster here. I recommend the squidding pasta. She likes hot stuff, and I don't think pasta's that hot. And a lobster is in cold water. The steak is supposed to be hot. What about steak?
Steak.
She certainly recognizes that word. And I wouldn't normally recommend doing this, but there's a bone, a piece of cow skeleton in the steak. Maybe you might also be able to eat that.
Apparently, yes. And I'll have the lobster, please.
He looks a little embarrassed.
It is a night for celebrating, you know.
Hey, I don't mind. Rack up that bill. He chuckles and head off to the kitchen. It's not my money that you're spending. The cooks prepare the dishes as usual and hand them off to me, just like last time, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say. Both of these meals require special cutlery. I've got a lobster fork and a cracker for Hendrik, and a steak knife for Teleporia. I don't want to give her this weapon. The serrated edges gleam in the murky light. Is it really a good idea to hand a weapon like this over to her? I feel like Hendrik's gonna get stabbed. I'm on my own here and nobody will help me if she attacks me. Or maybe since nobody else will help me, I have to deal with the situation myself. She hasn't made a move to harm me yet. But she did do a number on the dining room. It may only be a matter of time. Well, I'm not gonna go against somebody with a bunch of tentacles, come on. As I look over at table 6, it's time to make a choice. What should I do with the knife? I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna kill her. I'm gonna get rid of it. I'm gonna give it to her as though she were any other customer. And watch Hendrik get stabbed, as he deserves for doing all of this. Fighting them seems like a pretty bad call. And there's no sense in making things really awkward, right? The night's been going surprisingly well, and yeah, I'm going to count not dead yet as surprisingly well. I serve the dishes as usual, placing the lobster cracker and fork by Hendrik, and the steak knife next to Teleporia's place. She glances at it, but not for more than a second. The only thing she's intent on attacking is her dinner. Bloody juice flies from the steak, dripping everywhere, pooling in her lap, sprinkling onto her seat, flinging onto the tablecloth, speckling the crayon lines, which start to buzz slowly.
That's Harvey from Star, dude.
It doesn't have a bushy enough mustache.
That's Harvey from Star, dude. He's in a horror setting in his 20s.
And his mustache isn't grown out very well.
Yeah, that's why it takes until he's like 30.
Should I call this to their attention? You know what? This is none of my business. This is all your problem. So no, I'm not going to say anything. My eyes are closed. I say nothing and finish serving their food. As I do, I can see the wood warping like putty until something starts to push against it from beneath. A tentacle shoots out. It looks much like Teleporia's but smaller and spikeless.
What? The barrier, it's still weak. Ugh, can I not have one night to myself?
She flips the steak knife in her hand, holding it blade down, and begins to slash at the tentacle.
Stop acting up. For attention.
It squeals, pathetic and defeated, knife buried in it down to the hilt, before sinking back into the rift. Hendrik snatches a crayon up from the floor and scrawls out the circle. The familiar, if broken, surface of the table is once again visible.
I really wish you weren't so harsh with them. And I wish you'd stop trying to be their father. Well, I suppose it isn't easy being mother to an entire ecosystem.
Now knifeless, she picks up her steak and rips a chunk off with her teeth.
Let that be a lesson to you all.
I won't be forgetting that anytime soon. So before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food, powering your true form enough?
Silly V, when in my true form I do not consume human fuel. This human template, what did you call it?
Hendrik's caught mid-bite and he covers his mouth to respond.
A human sona. My human sona, it consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces. All the same as you yourself, I assume.
Your human sona isn't very human. I never expected to have a restaurant patron ask if I breathe and poop, but here we are.
But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining.
She stares me down. She looks at my teeth again. She looks me in the eye. She holds that eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is inadequate for this situation. Honey, these are my teeth. Get your own damn teeth. That aren't mine. She waits. And then laughs. I can breathe again.
Delicious, a light dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming.
If that doesn't strike her as much fear, please let me never, ever learn what she does. So, you eat fear then, and not teeth?
It falls under my purview. Suffering. Sweetie's true form eats concepts. She builds her human sonas to have quite the taste for them too. Any form of important emotion can sustain her, but she's picky. I am not. Suffering is the only thing worth eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me. It's okay, whatever you eat. I love you just the way you are. And I would like you much better with several more stab wounds to the head. Anytime, sweetie. Ugh.
Weird. I gotta take a smoke break. If I manage to sneak away for the next 15 minutes, I know that I'll eventually have to return. I try to strike up a conversation with the line cooks again. So, how do you guys feel about the recent tentacle invasion? Do you guys like tentacles? I know it's a pretty popular kink. Of course nobody responds. Yeah, it's hard to really put it into words, huh? No response. Just click. I guess a spooky atmosphere has a certain charm, but I don't think it'll catch on with the baby boomers. I think the BDSM crowd would appreciate it a whole lot more. It's too bad that we're a classy restaurant and we don't get that kind of crowd. It'd make things so much more interesting than it already is. Conventional wisdom says that they like elegance or rustic charm, and Midwestern moms are not into dripping fluids. I mean, as a general group. I don't want to assume individual tastes. This gets boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. So, thank you for dining with us tonight. I did it. I made it through the evening. I'm tempted to not even give them a check, to just rush them right out the door, but I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you.
How kind of you. You know, I was planning on heading out, but you know what? I couldn't care less if I attempted, and I am very powerful. I am capable of caring far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams. Let's do dessert.
Oh. Okay. I look from his smiling face to Teleporia's a cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. Bucket, caution to the wind, bananas, Foster, flambe. You feel like drinking? I sure do, after dinner brandy. I recommend our chocolate torte or whatever for the delightful couple. Bananas! Is my professionalism slipping? Must be.
What are we impregnating? Sweetie, it's a figure of speech. I don't have that function this time around. Sweetie, I think she's just tired.
That's okay. I think if I want this to be a truly satisfying night for our esteemed void goddess, then she's going to enjoy this dessert, or at least how we cook it.
What is this blathering about?
But I can tell I've got her hooked. We cook it tableside, with a huge flame. And there it is.
I'm not so sure about this.
Looks like he's picked up on the pattern too. Oh, I insist. I don't even need to write this one down. 1 flaming dessert for table 6. I scramble about the kitchen grabbing everything I need. Am I cleared to do this? Hell no. 2 weeks is not long enough to have permission to set things on fire next to the diners. But tonight's special, isn't it? I wheel the cart over. Feeling a mite chatty, I take my time prepping to light it on fire. So congrats on getting out of, what did you call it, the cold place?
The void.
Void. God, what's it like in there?
Dark, cold, mostly barren. Locked for something approaching. An eternity with nothing but your own thoughts. Unless one can become creative. I do my best to make creatures to fill it, but it is a vast expanse. Literally endlessly big. But with nothing in it.
Yeah, I caught part of your conversation before. You made your body, right?
Indeed. When rifts become open, I'm able to seize not only heat, but stray matter. I model the majority of my creations after your carbon-based life forms. But modifications must be made.
I'll bet. If the void doesn't have heat or any of its own matter, you need to make creatures that don't eat or breathe, right?
Good human. I model most of them after myself.
And you eat concepts.
Yes. After billions and billions of years, I have evolved over 1,000,000 species of void creature. Nearly all of them feed as I do on the concept of suffering.
So it's an endless barren place with no light, no heat, where the only thing that exists just go around preying on each other, suffering all the time.
Yes. Is it not marvelous? And someday, Human V, there will be a rift large enough that it is not tiny scraps and stray humans which fall through, but your entire plane of existence. You will enjoy it.
Wouldn't I hate it? I got distracted there for a bit, but I grabbed the rum. Can't caramelize it right without a pretty flame. I mean, I don't enjoy suffering.
You'd be surprised what humans can get used to.
Hendrik, I don't need your opinion, you freak.
I used the wrong English word. A closer translation might be resignation. You would become resigned to an existence saturated with pain. Enjoy isn't the correct term, unless you're a disgusting cluster of miswired brain signals. Love you too, sweetie. Ugh. I know what you're doing, Hendrik. You think if you can keep delaying me with fancy dinners, stolen body parts, gentle words, and rough sex. Can we not talk about our sex life in the public, thank you?
She places a hand on his arm.
That you can stop me. You are, as always, disgusting, but an appealing opponent.
Look out! And I light it up. The flame shines in her eyes, and I can feel the heat coming off it. I should probably be keeping a close eye on it to make sure it's cooking properly. But looking over at Hendrik and Teleporia, they're holding hands, so simply and happily. She's gripping his hand tightly from joy, and then she jerks him across the table, straight into the flaming cart. Now that burn, that's one that could cause permanent damage. Though he may be lucky that that's the worst thing that happened to him tonight. He executes a perfect stop, drop, and roll, and soon the flames are out. Ugh. Though he's far from unscathed.
Human, this was a fantastic dinner. Bring us a statement so that we may repay you for your noble worship and gifts.
I salute and wheel what remains of the upturned cart away. It's not long before I return with the bill in hand. He takes a check. He seems to do a bit of calculation in his head, then lays down some cash.
Well, this evening wasn't a complete waste of time and effort. Organ ravioli.
Hendrik looks up at her.
You may have one short, friendly embrace.
He jumps to his feet, arms wide open to hug her, and one of her tentacles slams into him, throwing his body across the room. It slams into the wall and ragdolls to the ground.
Hug transaction complete.
Oh no. Did you kill him? She heaves a sigh.
Would I were so lucky. No, Human. I merely rendered him unconscious.
That's good, I guess.
Via several cranial hemorrhaging.
That's bad, I guess.
He will sleep it off. I've ripped off his limbs before he can take it.
She looks almost fond. She gets up, walks over to him, and grabs him by the foot.
I suppose it is time to return him to his residence.
She perks up.
Or I can abandon his body in a trash unit. Perhaps nobody will find him, and he will be placed inside a trash compactor.
She turns to drag him away. I ask, Miss Teleporia? She turns quizzical.
Human, I am departing. You've made it through this evening unscathed. You have little to no ability to comprehend how fortunate that makes you, but I suggest you make an attempt.
I clear my throat. I think I'm trapped. I gesture around at the restaurant.
Oh yes, I had forgotten. Your world usually has even more light, does it not?
She shrugs.
Well, I had no hand in this.
And with that, she waves aside a tentacle and marches through the front door. Hendrik's head thuds against the ground as she walks down the staircase and out of sight. When I hear the front door close, another server bumps me in the shoulder stepping past. They give me a dirty look and keep heading their way. Just like that, I'm back. I get moving, clearing the table, scooping up the check. I check the tip. 40%. Might not cover emotional distress, but it'll cap off the shift well. This was quite the experience. But for my own safety, I think I'm gonna skip the 2 weeks notice. I came here to learn something new. And I'd say that that goal was more than accomplished. A hug goodbye. And then we come back to this, and so who wants brandy? And since nobody seems to notice what I do this evening, I'll just grab a glass for myself. And I pull up a chair, and she can eat up all the discomfort she wants.
I like this human. I'm keeping her. Sweetie, no. Sweetie, no. I can be your only one.
But I'm already off grabbing the bottle and a trio of glasses. I slam them down on the table and fill them up. I'll bet that you haven't had a good drink in, well, how long have you been stuck in that cold place? She grabs a glass.
Void.
Void, God, what's it like in there? She knocks back the brandy like it's whiskey. Probably goes without saying that she doesn't drink much.
Dark, cold, mostly barren. Locked for something approaching an eternity.
Damn, why does the audio take so long? It'd be faster if I just did it myself. Wouldn't I hate being over there? I reach for the bottle, but it's nearly empty. She's been putting it away fast. I mean, I don't enjoy suffering. He finally takes a sip of his brandy. And with that, she slumps over on the table, snoring loudly. By now, I can tell that is a smile on her face. He turns her to the side, brushes her hair out of her face, and wraps her up in her scarf.
I'm sorry, Miss V. This must have been an awfully difficult table for you tonight. I didn't think they'd give us someone so new.
Yeah, the manager didn't warn me that we had special clientele. I wasn't even close to briefed for it.
Well, you handled it marvelously. If you'd like to bring us a check, I think it's time to get her home.
I nod and clean up the bottle and glasses. So are you gonna lock her up or something? He chuckles.
No, this is just a sliver of the entity deep in the void. She can always make another body. But when she recalls the memories and experiences from this one, I want to make sure she knows. She can always switch diets.
I ponder that while I get his check. She's been around longer than our species, longer than our planet, so no matter how old Hendrik is, it's nowhere close. But when I bring the check back, Mr. Hendrik? I'm rooting for you, I guess. Keep on doing the hero thing, I guess. You freaky, kinky little man. He laughs all the way through signing the check loudly.
My dear V, I assure you I'm not being noble. It's very, very selfish.
He looks at Teleporia. She grinds her teeth a little, probably dreaming of biting someone. He scoops her up, making it look easy. She might be lighter than she looks. And for a moment, I think he's gonna kiss her on the cheek. But he doesn't give her anything more than a loving gaze. He carries her off out of the restaurant, and the second they step outside the door, everything goes back to normal. I start bussing the table. The tentacles may be gone, but the tablecloth is still a mess. I get it now. That closed space must be part of the restaurant, to keep people safe from their more bizarre guests. Now that they're gone, it'll be up to Hendrik to keep everyone safe. I bust the table and sneak a peek at the check. Dang. An 80% tip on a check with steak and a full bottle of brandy. Makes the idea of staying here pretty tempting. I'm honestly considering it. But first I'm gonna... He only gave 40% the last time because we brought the fire in and he got burned. But first I'm gonna need to have a long talk with my manager. Normally that sort of confrontation would be intimidating. But I'm bolstered by the memory of Teleporia's grin. And I grin too. I can handle it. I wonder if he gives 100%. If he doesn't get hurt. Sweets and dreams. I recommend our chocolate. Must remain professional. Everyone loves chocolate. Go with the safe option. Don't screw around when you're so close to the end of this. So close.
Bring it on, Miss V.
What is that? A tort. A sweet cake or tart. The torts here do better after a few hours setting up in the cooler, so they aren't made to order. I grab a couple and some spoons in return. Teleporia doesn't seem to be a fan, but at least she doesn't make a scene. Hendrik asks for the check and I rush off and get it ready in record time. He takes the check. I'm gonna go all the way back. He can have the blue crayon. Sorry, we ran out of red. Out of sheer spite, I grab a blue crayon. Look, I have to be here until all the customers leave, but that doesn't mean I have to like it. I bring the crayon back to him and hand it over.
Thank you, Miss V.
Look, I'd really appreciate it if you could order something. I'm usually very good with customers, but this is seriously trying my patience. Look, I know you're probably having a rough night, but we're closing soon. No warning, no nothing. He knocks everything off the table and climbs right on. What the Hey! What do you think you're doing? His deft hand scrawls a wide circle, then another, then sections off areas, slicing as though the crayon were a knife. He fills it with symbols. They look almost like zodiac signs. Tomato bisque. This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. But we make a pretty killer tomato soup here and it's popular with kids. I have no idea what flavors would taste good to her mouth, so it's best to stick with something with broad appeal. My eyes flint back over to Hendrik and there's a mild disappointment on his face. This isn't what he would have chosen, but it looks like he can work with it. And what would you like for your entree? I serve Teleporia her bisque, trying not to get too close. Oh yeah, soup. It's also hot. Please be careful, it's very hot.
Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can injure, and then she's gonna throw it at him again.
I don't really like the heat. I don't like getting sweaty. I fan my collar a little. I could really use a cold drink right now. She gives a quizzical look.
Are you implying that at times you generate too much heat?
I nod. In the summer, when the sun gets closer to the sun, everything gets hot and gross. Humans can get so warm they die. Her eyes open wide, both of them, all of them.
Do you catch fire and burn?
No, it's not like getting burned, it's just too much heat for the whole system, I think.
And you cannot simply uncover yourselves and release the heat into the vacuum of space?
I shake my head. No ma'am, the vacuum of space is too far away and in the summer we're surrounded by too much heat.
Huh. Your creator failed to take the seasons into account. Tell it to mind that on the next draft.
I assure her that I will, and out of the corner of my eye I see Hendrik returning. And Hendrik returns.
Getting along well? As well as might be expected.
We have a lobster. Hendrik gives a bit of a nod.
That's my order too. It's been a while, but this is a special night. What? At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming live creatures?
Wait, she doesn't think I'll serve it to her while it's still...
No, sweetie. I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch prudish about that sort of thing. But they have a tank here, so the lobster is fresh. Feh. Nothing is as fresh as squeezing the life from a creature with your jaws. Feeling it writhe and struggle in a fruitless attempt to stave off the icy curtain of death.
Hendrik! Keep it down! She's looking straight at my throat. 2 lobster dinners coming right up. I rush away as quickly as I can. I try to convince the chef to let me serve 1 lobster live. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and a crustacean, I'm gonna defend myself every time. But her reaction is the same as the last. She prepares the dishes as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say.
What is this?
She lifts up the extra utensil. It's a lobster cracker. You use that to crack open the shell.
This is a fair idea, but it's such a waste, V. To use this on a deceased creature.
Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She waves a claw at me.
Not if you have to crack it open anyway.
Hendrik is already digging the meat out of his.
Like I said, it's soothing to have a little tactile activity as part of your meal.
Teleporia's claws slip on the lobster cracker.
Meat shield, how are you employing your tool?
Well, you put either end of the metal bit over.
Raise it up and demonstrate.
He holds the lobster cracker and one leg up, leaning forward so they're close enough for her to get a good look. She holds hers up, pantomiming his actions, then promptly grabbing one of his hands, wrapping the cracker around his pointer finger and gripping it tightly. Oh!
Oh!
His finger juts out at an odd angle and blood drips onto the torn tablecloth. She cackles and throws the metal tool at his head.
A fool, I can easily employ such a simple item.
He's leaning away from his injured hand, the other on his face.
Right, you are. You got me.
He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. I mean, that is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him. He breathes heavily, trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner. As though nothing were wrong. So before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food powering your true form enough? I'm gonna try to kill her! This is gonna go bad. I slide the knife to the back of the tray and approach them.
No, I cannot. No, I can appreciate finely crafted Facsimile? I've seen this word before. I can never remember how to say it. Facsimile. No, I can appreciate finely crafted. No, I can appreciate finely crafted facsimiles, damn it. So you'll come with me then?
They're pretty distracted with their conversation, so they barely even notice me.
I make no promises. Why should I come watch humans pretend to injure one another, when I could just as easily go out and cause harm to actually befall them?
I place Hendrik's plate in front of him, and his cutlery. I can't wait to die.
But they're so creative. You couldn't actually get away with half of the tortures in horror films. Especially not the ones nowadays. And most humans don't contain half as much blood as they show on screen.
I put Teleporia's steak down in front of her.
This is true. I did enjoy the film where the woman put the men in the bags.
I grip the knife. There are a bunch of places to stab her, but the big eye on her chest looks like a vulnerable, easy-to-hit target.
Of course, that kind of sheer torment transcends language.
And then I stab! Stab, 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 stab!
I did it.
I did it! I jump back. But her eyes immediately glaze over and shut.
Sweetie?
He rushes to hold her.
Just hold on. No!
I was going to grab the knife again to defend myself, but he's right there. I need something to cut through the tentacles and get out of here.
I thought this was a respectable establishment.
Oh no, it's like a switch has just flipped. He pulls a knife out of Teleporia.
Do you know how long it takes her to put together a body?
He sidesteps around the table and he's right in front of me.
How long we have to wait for the veil to thin? Do you know how hard it is getting in a moral goddess of the void to look upon humanity with anything above contempt? How hard it is to keep her eternal hunger at bay? And worst of all, she may never go out on another date with me after this.
I don't give a fuck about you, Hendrik! Get out of my face! The last thing on my mind before it all goes black is agonizing pain. You made the choice of going after the one entity that doesn't give a shit about humanity because you want to change her. Oh, she's so fucked up, but I can change her. I can fix her. The last thing on my mind before it all goes black is agonizing pain. But the penultimate thought is that maybe he might be even scarier than the thing he summoned. I'm not afraid. I'm not fucking afraid of him, you little weirdo. Excuse me, your summoning circle. They look up at me. I point to the table where the wood is already beginning to shimmer and warp.
Oh, sweetie, you're opening the rift back up.
He scrounges on the floor for a moment before sitting back up with the crayon. We watch as he crosses out a line here, smudges a line there, until the table looks, if not normal, then at least Euclidean. I know this is a good time to retreat back to the kitchen, but I can't help but ask. So, did you just close the circle back up? It looked like the lines were already smudged before this. How precise do they need to be? He chuckles and picks up one of the lobster claws.
This wasn't a summoning circle for summoning or making a connection between the realms.
He places a claw inside the lobster cracker.
The circle just eroded the barrier in an already weak location. Usually this place's owner keeps the doorway nice and clear. Oh well, mistakes happen, right? Just let her know to have a look at it, okay?
Absolutely. She and I are gonna have a long talk. I'm gonna make sure this barrier's closed so you could suffer. Wouldn't your girlfriend, quotation marks, love that? You're suffering?
Haha, it's no trouble.
He starts to squeeze the cracker.
If you know how anything works, it's easy to destroy it.
The shell snaps open and he starts to dig the meat out. Teleporia peers at his hands, watching closely as he dismantles the creature.
Would you like some? Pah! And waste time preparing my own meal. My beefsteak is delicious, peon. Suit yourself, but you're missing out. On what? Steak is filled with calories for fuel and proteins, which are building blocks of DNA. Name one thing that makes your meal the superior dish.
I start to take a step back. They're eating. I can leave them in peace. Time to get back out there before.
Human V.
Great. Yes, ma'am?
Remain here and bear witness to my would-be mate's crushing defeat.
Yes, ma'am. There are a few things I want less than to stay in the same area as these two, especially if they're gonna fight.
Sweetie, you know I would never want to argue with you. I respect your opinions at all times, even when they're wrong.
Oh, no.
I am a deity. You cannot comprehend the depths of my knowledge. If I should make a statement, then it is surely so. Oh yes, she's so deeply infallible that her first time out in public in the 1800s, she ran screaming from an accordion player having literally never seen in untold millennia of existence anything like it. I guess she was lucky that there weren't bagpipes, huh?
Oh!
She lunges across the table, steak knife flying, question mark.
Before he could even move, she stabs 3 times, knife driving down to the hilt with each thrust. Hendrik coughs, blood dribbling from his chest. He didn't move a finger to defend himself. One of those stabs must have gotten him in an organ. And it's not like he can't feel it. His face is skewed up from the intensity of the attack.
I suppose that was uncalled for, wasn't it, sweetie? I'm sorry I missed what you said because it sounded like you were spinning lies to the human. Never, darling.
At a complete loss, I pull an extra napkin from my apron and hand it over to Hendrik.
So, human, have I won the argument?
I'm gonna say yes. Pretty definitely.
Huh.
Now knifeless, she picks up her steak and rips a chunk off with her teeth.
Let that be a lesson to all.
I won't be forgetting that anytime soon. So before I go, is everything chill? At this point, I expected it. I can sense a pattern. You don't give fire to a creature that loves suffering without expecting someone to get second-degree burns. And he's trying to stifle a laugh, but it's pretty obvious. He loves it. It's like the little freak that he is. I think he's just trying to keep up appearances. He executes a perfect stop, drop, and roll, and soon the flames are out. Ugh. Though he's far from unscathed.
Human, this was a fantastic dinner. Bring us a statement so that we may repay you for your noble worship and gifts. So, sweetie, abysmal choices. Meat soups, flaming fruits. Bring additional fire so I may raise this entire city.
She laughs.
I jest, human. Why would I wish to rob myself of the future enjoyment of dining here?
You nearly gave me a heart attack.
Should your organs cease, kindly deposit yourself in the nearest rift. I would be pleased to craft your matter into a new species.
Heh, let me finish using it first. I've got plans.
Treat it well. I will be most displeased should my waiting be for naught.
Hendrik puts his very, very bloody napkin on the table. Looking at him battered, burned, and blood-stained, there's the vague sense that I should be doing something. Getting a first aid kit or calling an ambulance. But that right there is just normal. That's what normal is for them, those fucking freaks. That's what their flirting looks like, those fucking freaks. Keep it to the bedroom. I don't want to be involved in this.
And you?
She turns to face him.
Surely the world will not thank you for any continued services of stalling me, but as you persist, and as your form does not look entirely disagreeable this evening, I find it acceptable to engage in the human ritual of mouth-touching.
He springs to his feet even though it looks like he should be stumbling over.
Sweetie?
She moves in for the kiss, and of course, it's odd, it's weird, it makes me so uncomfortable. But I don't know, it feels right seeing them together. 2 freaks. Perfect for each other. And who would have guessed that she was capable of being gentle? Maybe that's just the way love is. Oh! And there goes half his face. She's got the skin in her hand and it looks like she's even took a muscle or 2 with it. She gives it an affectionate nuzzle.
I will be waiting by your vehicle. Do not keep me long.
It's harder to tell with his lower jaw missing, but there's enough cheek muscle left to see a grin. Do you want a bandage? He shakes his head and gets to his feet. He pulls out his wallet. He looks up at me, and through the blood, he's still beaming.
Thank you.
I nod back. I hope that wasn't one of his nicer ties. How much clothing do regenerative masochists go through?
Best date in over 100 years.
He's just old now. I think she might have reopened his stab wounds too. When I look up, he stumbled toward the door. I did not consent to this. Is he okay to drive? Whether Teleporia can or can't operate a car, I assume the outcome would be similarly disastrous. As he leaves, everything goes back to normal. I start bussing the table. The tentacles may be gone, but the tablecloth is still a mess. I get it now. That closed space must be part of the restaurant, to keep people safe from their more bizarre guests. Now that they're gone, it'll be up to Hendrik to keep everyone safe. Good luck with that. I gather up the check and start walking it back to the kitchen, and somehow after a night of monsters and gore, this is the biggest surprise of the evening. He left me 100% tip cause he got his rocks off. On a dinner with steak and everything. I don't want to say that there's a price at which I'll bear this kind of treatment. I mean, what would that say about me as a person? I have pride. Still, I came here for experience and connections, and I sure experienced something tonight. You know what? I better get this whole tip for myself. If I don't get any of this tip, I'm raising this whole fucking restaurant to the ground. And no one's gonna get their rocks off now. Hendrik can fight me, and I'm gonna win. I will find a way, and I'll make sure I win. And I'll be like, and I'll steal your girl too, bitch. I'll take her whole ecosystem's mine now. It went from, like, fighting the restaurant for not giving me the tip to fighting Hendrik. I mean, I did not consent to seeing their weird kinkiness out in public, okay? So, like, it is on him. The other thing is different. Every time, so, because that was more focused on beating the shit out of Hendrik, focusing on the restaurant, I'd raise their restaurant to the ground, and if they ever open it again, I'll continue raising it to the ground. I will become the nightmare. I will become a new whole entity that you gotta deal with. You'll never work in this town again or anywhere else. That's for not giving me my goddamn money. I had to deal with this. Now you gotta deal with me. And I sure experienced something tonight. My heart's still racing. The second that rift opened, I wanted to be anywhere but here. But now, I can't imagine working anywhere else. What do I need to research other restaurants for? This place is magic. If I do my shift right, I'm gonna get hella tips. The minute my shift is over, I need to have words with my manager. I don't mind that she didn't warn me. I never would have believed her. But I need to make absolutely certain I want to have the Saturday shift permanently. I want to meet all the strange creatures out there and hear all their stories. This is a career. Kissing on the 293rd date. Hendrik uses his immortality for weird kinky stuff, and if I had immortality, I'd just be a bitch. You pissed me off because of this one little thing, and now I'm just gonna... That's not the last of me that you're gonna hear about. I'm gonna ruin your whole life. Okay, now I have to ruin his whole date because he doesn't get his rocks off. Caesar salad. This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her, but hey, who can go wrong with the basics? One look at Hendrik and I can tell. Me. I can go wrong with the basics. He heaves a sigh. And what would you like for your entree? I serve Teleporia her salad, trying not to get too close.
I'll be back in a minute. I need to wash my hands after that summoning.
Before I'll ever feel clean again, I'll need a hot shower, a Brillo pad, and therapy. Teleporia purses her lips and pokes at the lettuce with a fork.
Foliage.
Oh no, look at her teeth, that cruel glare. Of course she's a meat eater. What was I thinking? I need to rescue this quickly. Chicken! Our Caesar salad also comes with anchovies, which you will see there. I gesture toward one of the small fish in her salad. She spears one on an elongated claw and peers closely at it with her cluster of eyes.
If you were to diagram your local food chain, where might one find this small creature?
I guess it isn't a plant or plankton, but still relatively low toward the bottom? She snorts.
A meager offering for an establishment claiming to fend luxury.
She picks the fish out and chomps him down before shoving the rest of the bowl away disgusted. It's funny when the narrative dialogue becomes their speaking dialogue. I'm pretty sure I gotta do the heater one again, but I never said this option, so I'm gonna say it right now. And we can come back.
I too enjoy hunting. Actual consumption of matter at times comes second to the thrill of pursuing a terrified creature.
Well, I was more thinking about exercise, to keep in shape. She stops.
Do you waste your fuel on extra heat?
No, it isn't a waste, it's fun. She hisses through her jagged teeth.
The human enjoys this, does she?
Well, yeah. There's only so long I can stand getting jerked around like this. There's plenty of good energy right here for you to consume and you're not going for it.
I'm sure I don't have any idea what you're discussing, Human V.
I give her salad a meaningful look. She huffs and begins stuffing handfuls in her mouth. And Hendrik returns.
Getting along well? As well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company. We'll eat our appetizers and...
She shakes her head.
I'm finished with mine.
He laughs.
Of course, how could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now? I don't remember what I was doing with his voice, damn.
He's starting to slowly fall into the Sans voice. Squid ink pasta. The chef's special today is a fresh spaghetti with squid ink and Cajun shrimp. She sighs.
Squids, I have a special place in my heart for cephalopods. Oh, so you added that fifth valve? It's nurturing cuttlefish at the moment. Aw.
I can't. I look to him for his order.
I'll keep up the seafood theme. 1 lobster, no butter, please.
Coming right up. I serve Teleporia her pasta and Hendrik his lobster. Spaghetti might not seem like a fancy food, but these noodles are pitch black. I mean, I think they're cool. She seems pretty neutral about them, which isn't the worst outcome I can imagine. Every time I've gone to a restaurant that has squid ink pasta, it's always been with like a party of people and we're expecting to take pictures, so I end up going, oh, I guess I won't get it. I've wanted to try it, but because they talked about taking pictures afterwards, it's like, well, if I eat this now, I'm gonna have a whole mess.
So, sweetie, mediocre food, boring company, not enough of my preferred sustenance.
Sounds like a pretty bad Yelp review, but it's not the end of the world.
I'm burning the whole place down.
Okay, now that's not great.
Sweetie, no.
She launches a tentacle at him, throwing him across the room and pinning him to the wall. And with others, she brings a light fixture, dunks her napkin in the table's olive oil, and stuffs her napkin into the broken circuit.
Not again.
Why am I not surprised that this has happened before? She lumbers out of the restaurant as it burns. I don't remember much else from the evening. Coughing, someone carrying me out of there, lots of panic. Perhaps it just took the building burning down around them to get everyone to notice. The restaurant shut down and I didn't get any forwarding numbers. I can kiss that reference goodbye on my next round of applications. When I check the pockets of my ruined uniform, I find some paper. Oh, it's the check and the tip. 20%. Nice. I mean, it doesn't make up for losing my job, but I appreciate that he understood that I tried. Ooh, we got all the endings. Well, that was something. I wasn't expecting Hendrik to be a huge masochist. Like, I thought he was, I don't know, not normal, but not to the point where, like, oh, he wanted to get hurt. Like, not even just, like, a minor hurt. This man wanted to be filleted. He gets his rocks off to getting filleted. That sure is something. I don't not want to hear about their sex life. The credits was already just like, you know that man was ready to fuck after his intestines got pulled out and uses his swing. This was a fun visual novel, though. Oops. I don't think I've ever played a romance novel where you're just the third party having to bear witness. I am kink shaming, by the way. There's BDSM, and then there's this. And this I do not approve of. BDSM, just keep it to yourself. So he truly is selfish and so inconsiderate. I mean, at least in the unsatisfied ending, he still tipped, and that's honestly more than a lot of people do. There was one table that we had that complained about the food and the prices, and then they were all like, here, $1. And I feel like that was insulting, honestly. I don't know if the crayon thing mattered. I thought giving the blue crayon was gonna like cause more instability in the barrier, but I don't know if it just counted towards her having an unsatisfied time, or it was just for you. He asked for a red crayon after sitting here for hours? Well, too fucking bad you get the blue crayon. I'll also spit in your food. I hate you. Wasting my time. Our character's all like, oh yeah, I'd do this again. This is wild. I don't think I want to do that. Like, it's already bad enough when you deal with messy humans. I don't want to deal with an entity that has issues with whatever they're ordering. Like, they're taking it as, oh, this is gonna be fun. Like, I'm probably gonna get more things, like more people like this couple coming in, and it's gonna be like, it was intent, like I was scared, but like it was fun. No, you're absolutely gonna be getting like shitty customers. Anyways, in world, on the good hand, if everyone is like Hendrik, you get some insane tips. You're gonna be living large. On the other hand, out of spite, I would also find a way to be immortal, and I would ruin every one of his dates for making me have to deal with this. Our character was talking about making their own restaurant. I would make a restaurant. I would become immortal, make my restaurant to be the rival of this restaurant, and I would just make sure to try to steal all of their customers and be all like, this is what you get for putting me through this, and you never warned me. And now I'm taking everything that you once had. It's mine now. I'm doing this out of spite and revenge. You should never have opened me up to this world. I hope you guys enjoyed. May I take your order? And I hope to see you in anything else. If you were in this position, would you stay, or would you be like, nah? Have a good day and or a good night.
Sleep tight, little human, and dream of suffering tonight.